Hi everyone, this is Patricio Ginelsa, director of Lumpia with a Vengeance.
I am Rey Cuardo, producer of Lumpia with a Vengeance.
Hi, my name is Earl Baylon. I'm one of the associate producers and an actor in Lumpia with a Vengeance.
I mean, yeah. Lumpia is, I mean, if you don't know already, is a lumpia. It's a Filipino spring roll. And it is a food that I think of all foods defines the Filipino culture. And it's also not only delicious, but it's a fun food.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And you can use it as a weapon. Well, you know, look, in comic book world, anything's possible. If you can believe a man can dress up like a bat or a spider, then you can believe a hero can dress up in a barong Tagalog and throw lumpia.
Right.
There you go.
Let's just say that, I mean, if you think about Batman, Batman is like obsessed with bats. Everything is bat themed.
Yes.
We got our Lumpia Avenger now, so
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
you can think of all.
every hero needs a symbol, right? So why not something that's tasty and delicious, you know?
Right.
And it represents our culture, right?
And it is iconic. I think the lumpia is probably the most iconic sort of Filipino food outside of the Philippines.
Yeah. It's based on a homemade film I did with my friends and neighbors in Daly City, California. A bunch of Filipinos kids got together. We did a homemade film about a comic book film about lumpia. We're fans of El Mariachi. It's a movie by Robert Rodriguez, and that movie is about a hero who uses a guitar as a weapon. And the best that we could think of, my brother and I at the time, was why not a Filipino guy dressed up in a barong and who throws lumpia? And my brother was just joking, but I said, wait a minute, there's something visual about that, you know, and this is years ago, and then I've been justifying it since then, from now a movie to a sequel to a comic book. So but I mean, the whole thing was having fun with it, right? I think a lot of folks, I think with filmmaking, it can get pretty serious at times, and I'm not saying that every issue in the movie is fun. I mean, we do tackle some taboos and issues in our community, but we kind of wrap it in this really tasty comic book. I mean, definitely very personal. I mean, I was bullied a lot when I was young, and I don't think I really knew what was happening until I kind of figured out. So the bullying and underdog themes have always been something that's been kind of regularly explored in a lot of my my projects. But with Lumpia with a Vengeance, I think even hooking up with Mark Munoz, who plays Kuya, we bonded because of the fact that he also was bullied in high school, and I already remember him when he did his last speech in the octagon as a UFC fighter. He did this really cool speech about bullies and everything, and I just he really embodied all the qualities of a hero, and fortunately Mark said yes and has joined us in this crazy journey, but yeah, the bullying thing is I think more now. It's prevalent, right? But in a way, it's why not a hero who goes against bullies, unlike the first one, but here now bullying in the form of a lumpia that's been used as drugs, So it's weird, It's like in our own little wacky universe.
Well, I thought it was just so appropriate because we are in Los Angeles, right? And a large Hispanic community. We thought it was just the perfect sort of play to play on, another food, because we're all just having fun with it, and the fact that we were able to get Danny Trejo. I mean, you saw that part
without spoiling it.
You don't want to. Yes.
Mistaking lumpia for taquito relating to culture. I don't know.
Right. No, I mean it's one of those things, right? That it's I think lumpia is a nice little microcosm of the Asian American community in itself, because you think about so many cultures within the Asian continent have a spring roll, but lumpia is very specific to us. Well, and Indonesia, but but a lumpia Shanghai, I guess, is very specific to us, and it's representative of our community and Asian American as a whole.
And even within the Hispanic and the Filipino, there's been a history of our communities joining forces, with the labor, with Cesar Chavez and Nair Itliong, and so I felt right to in a subtle way, talk about that relationship.
I wasn't there.
I wasn't.
I just heard and I was like, we got what?
You never look. This whole industry is full of rejections and no's, right? But you never know who's gonna say yes. And Danny Trejo's team caught wind of the script. They loved it. They understood it. Danny said yes. His only recommendation was, or his only question was, "You're not making fun of Trejo's tacos, are you?" Like, that's all he wanted to know. Like, as long as it was taking like, no, of course not, And he got the joke. Like, we weren't making fun of his business, Like, why am I a taquito boy or whatever, What? But see, that feels good when someone like him can understand the joke and can laugh along and then play this character that you could, you never know. It could go both ways. But we literally made it into a way that made it fun and hilarious. Yeah.
I just thought about this right now, but like, how did it feel like landing Danny, who was like in a Robert Rodriguez movie, who's in Desperado?
No, and I brought this up because it was based on El Mariachi. Desperado's a reboot. Danny Trejo career rejuvenated because of that film, and I told him right when he was on the ground, like, well, I'm spoiling it, and I'm like, Mr. Trejo, I gotta say this. Thank you so much for being part of this project. But I thanked them because it felt like we're coming circle. I'm a big fan of Robert Rodriguez, and like the fact that he connected the two franchises in a way, it felt, it felt very nerdy, and very very cool, Oh, and that was the first take too, so it's incredible. Like to the point that he actually touched. I was actually even tempted of not even slowing down, but it was like, oh my gosh, we had to put it there, because people won't believe it, and so. Credit to Mark and Danny. They're like marksmen. They're like bullseye. They're like there must be another part for them. So Dan, if you have another part for Danny Trejo where he can play the marksman, throwing knives. Oh, he did that in Desperado. So he's just So he was just really just remembering that role, taking that in.
On top of the limousine.
This is not a knife. This is a taquito,
That's probably what he was thinking when he read the script. He says, "I've done this before."
Well, I mean, look, Scott Pilgrim, definitely an influence, but you understand that we had already, even with Lumpia 1, so Lumpia with a Vengeance, I got to do what I couldn't do with the first film, and the first Lumpia movie, the homemade one, was I like to brag that was a comic book film before comic book films became and before Scott Pilgrim came out. So yes, Edgar Wright had the budget and stuff, but I made sure not I saw that what he could do. It was a video games, the kind of thing, but I really wanted to make sure it was the comic book world with a hint of anime, but not too much, So I was very conscious about. Because we can't compete with Scott Pilgrim and that budget, But to testament to our post-production, our visual effects artists, I mean, they did such a great job of really designing that look, and covered a lot of our coverage issues. So it's always great to have anime shots, and VFX shots, because you could do it a lot. But that's when you're doing movies like this, you're always looking for shortcuts, and made it fun. So yes, the Captain EO. We call it the Captain EO scene without saying Captain EO.
Right. Oh my God. When we came up with that
scene. We were in the writing room, by the way. So we were in the writing room. That's how Earl got involved. Right. We were in the writing room.
We were sitting there trying to come up with something, and then our entire time is just like we were spitballing things, and that came out, and we're like, we have to do this. And before we even went in production, I was like, how's this gonna happen? And I actually wasn't up there for when you shot it, but I saw the footage and I was like, yes! Whenever anybody gets it, it's all worth it to me. Yeah. It's all worth it to me. So, yeah.
Yeah, you can't. I mean,
Now you gotta go see the movie because you guys don't know what we're talking about.
I mean, obviously Star Wars. You can't do a nerdy movie without any references to Star Wars, so that's there, right? We did a lot of Marvel stuff. I mean, I always talk about the Batman thing because it's obviously there with the Punisher because of the microchip and the food truck and the like the. I mean, there's a lot of elements of the genre and just kind of the things that you would read in comic books. It's weird. No one's ever asked me like exactly, but there are definitely a lot of Easter eggs. I think, but the one thing that I'm really proud of in terms of nerdiness is the callbacks to the original film because I really wanted to make sure like the people who've seen the first, like oh my gosh, that's a callback to that. There's even characters that we sprinkle there, but also callback to even Filipino American culture, like the music being retro and Buffy and Freestyle and Jocelyn Enriquez. So for any Philams growing up in the 90s and stuff, that for us was important to bring that pop culture to life.
Just let them know that be prepared for, what is it, almost 2 hours? About
109 to be exact.
2 hours of non-stop, crazy, wild and wacky entertainment. Just a loads of fun.
Yeah, if you like the pacing of The Simpsons, that's basically how we paced it. It's like you can't go to the bathroom. You definitely can't take breaks. So you miss stuff.
There's not a lot. There really isn't a lot of fat in the movie. It really, it does clip along at a good pace. And I don't know. I guess what I would warn people about is like, just remember to have fun. It's, not everything in life has to be serious.
I got the perfect warning.
Yeah.
Make sure you have lumpia around. So you're gonna get hungry. So make sure you have a dish of lumpia and some banana sauce or sweet chili sauce or however you eat your lumpia.
It's gonna hit you.